Yo, 74,000 views, 28,000 views. Yo, I think we know what we're talking about, right? Yo, I think we all know, you know.
Today we have
views
another
are
very
king.
special video where I'm going to bring you guys Kinich footage, gameplay, and also my general thoughts on him, first impressions, build advice, and also a rundown of his different teams and a showcase of different teams in action. Now, this is obviously recorded before Kinich comes out on a creator experience server, so a special thanks to them for allowing me to play Kinich early and post this early. Now, as always, I will also make a complete and detailed guide covering everything you need to know about Kinich coming out next when he releases on the live servers. But for now, here's what you need to know about Kinich, how he plays, what he does, his different teams, and how he performs in combat, because genuinely, he is very unique, unlike other characters playstyle-wise, very fun, and also quite strong. All right, so starting things off, let me explain to you guys what Kinich actually does, give you a quick rundown on his kit before showing you his gameplay and teams in action. So firstly, Kinich is honestly a very unique but also quite straightforward DPS. His main source of damage is his elemental skill, which is unlike anything else we've ever seen. It is effectively a grappling hook, an ability that'll grapple onto a nearby opponent or object that can be attacked. Grappling
So blood is action. There it is.
Onto them and then swinging around them as you press your normal attacks. Each normal attack will make you swing in a direction that you can choose. You can hold an arrow key while you're attacking to kind of control how you swing, and you'll just be firing shots, pew-pewing at an enemy, dwindling away at their HP. Throughout your skill's 10-second duration, you will be in a Night Soul Blessing state, which is the new mechanic unique to Natlan characters. And inside of this, not only will you be swinging around and shooting enemies, but you will also be able to recast your skill for a huge hit of damage. As you can see at talent level 9, the scaling is almost 1200. It is a big sort of mini nuke of damage that you can do multiple times inside of a skill press. In fact, you can press your skill again once you generate enough Night Soul points, 20 Night Soul points to be exact, and you generate these Night Soul points in a few different ways. You'll basically just passively get them as your basic attacking enemies, just through your normal attacks, but you will also get more Night Soul points if the enemies you're fighting take burning or burgeon damage, making them synergize with pyro quite nicely, and you will also get more Night Soul points if you can get into these glowing fields called blind spots that will appear in your skill as you're grappling and shooting enemies. You also gain a little bit of Night Soul passively as time goes on, 2 per second. This is something that I will cover in more detail with more exact rotation advice in my complete guide coming out next, but for now, know that basically he's someone who will just grapple onto an enemy, swing around as he does normal attacks, going in a circle or whichever direction you choose, dealing okay amount of chip damage and then a big burst shot of damage when your Night Soul points are maxed out, happening around 3 or 4 times per skill press. Additionally, you get these more often against burning or burgeoned enemies, and so naturally, Kinich is a character who synergizes with pyro supports, which is unlike most other Dendro characters, except maybe Emily and kind of Nahida, which is really cool, especially given that the Pyro Archon is right around the corner. I do also want to point out that Kinich does, as mentioned, synergize very well with Bennett. I want to re-emphasize that to kind of say that a lot of his best teams, at least right now, will run Bennett, who is a popular unit. Obviously, most people have him. He's a 4.0, but your other teams may want him. So while Kinich doesn't need Bennett, and there's definitely some Bennett-less teams, he does benefit from the huge attack buff and healing that Bennett provides you with, on top of being a pyro character. So keep in mind that a lot of Kinich teams will have Bennett, as he can really make use of the huge buffs that he gives you. Outside of just that, Kinich's elemental burst is one that summons a dragon that will deal a pretty solid amount of passive.
Theoretically speaking, do we have Himeko leaks? Theoretically speaking. Do we have theoretically speaking Himeko leaks? No. Fuck, dude. I really want to know what Himeko does.
Massive AoE damage as your Kinich is grappling about. Keep in mind that this burst is something that isn't the main part of your kit. Your skill will be more damage than your burst, but it is a nice bonus amount of damage that also has a much bigger AoE than your skill. And inside of its animation, you can also gain Night Soul points, so using it inside of your skill can actually be beneficial, as instead of eating away at your skill's duration, it actually will extend it, and you'll also be able to stack up Night Soul points through things like your passive as enemies are burning, stuff like that, without feeling like you're wasting your skill's uptime by using your burst. Kinich will also gain quite a bit of damage as party members trigger Night Soul bursts, increasing one of his skills' cannon shot damage. Now, outside of just exactly what he does though, Kinich is also someone who can kind of grapple around in midair, have a lower cooldown on his grapple if you're not actually hitting an enemy, be very mobile in that sense, so cool for exploration, but also have a very mobile and unique playstyle when it comes to fighting enemies as well. Because of this, Kinich is a main DPS unlike anyone we've seen, on top of the fact that he also synergizes very well with the burning reaction, or burgeon as well, which
Is it an Arlecchino angle? Is it Arlecchino angle? Burning and it's not Arlecchino angle. Oh shit.
Makes him a completely different entity, at least team-wise, as other prevalent Dendro DPSs like Alhaitham or Tichnari. And so to elaborate a bit on this, I think Kinich has a very unique gameplay loop. Obviously, you still set up all your support abilities and then go to your main DPS, which is Kinich. But you're going to use your skill targeting one enemy, grappling around them, and then
I have this team though. I have Dea. And I have Farina. I saw a team he used just now. He was like Kenichi, Farina, Bennett, and Dea. So it's like basically the same thing.
Inside of your skill, you can kind of choose which way to go. You also have some interruption resistance.
Wait, yo, executive account managers. Are we raising my Dea? Dea, my Sia. Yo, let's raise up my Dea.
Inside of your skill, it's not the most. You can still get knocked around by heavy attacks, but it is nice. And not only are you focused on dealing damage and pressing your skill whenever it's up, stacking it up as fast as possible, you are also at the same time trying to get into
mod check. Mod check. Huge mod check. Huge mod check. Huge mod check. Huge mod check. Yo, Pop Top, can you rename slaves to executive account managers? Rename slaves to executive account managers. Thanks. You know, at least it's good.
These lit up zones that appear in order to get
I
more
want it to be long, so people won't even use it.
Night Soul points and therefore get more skill presses, more cannon shots to do more damage. Kinich's damage does have some AoE if the enemies are all grouped up, especially
I like
with his
it when
burst,
it's long.
but a lot of his skill
I like
is
long,
single target,
you know?
or at least has a very small AoE. Like if a lot of enemies are grouped up, as I said, you can't hit them all with your
It's like the, you know, the Mr. Beast train? I just bought a train and it's heading to the blah, blah, blah. Do you guys still use the emote? Do you have the Mr. Beast train emote? I just bought a... Do you guys remember? Do you guys... no, is it... No, there's a train emote. There's a train emote. No, not Mr. Beast. There's a Mr. Beast train. You don't have the emote. Wait. Okay, never mind. Nobody says it anymore.
cannon blast, as you can see here in this domain. So really
Oh my god, that's so fucking long. Okay, you know what? I actually like it. I actually like it. Nah. This will reduce the chances of my chat typing executive call managers because it's so long that they wouldn't want to type it in game. So people won't think that I'm like, you know, I have executive call managers because I don't, essentially. Alright, yeah. Okay, pause. Let me refresh this. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. I just bought a train and it's currently heading full speed burning towards the giant pit over there. You know, it's just ridiculous, dude. Yay.
really nice, but he does excel in single target situations because a lot of his skills damage, which is the main part of his kit, mind you, doesn't have the biggest AoE. So if enemies aren't like super grouped or whatever, then you may be doing mostly single target damage. So keep that in mind. He has some AoE. There's ways to play around it, but he's not the most AoE driven character like someone like Nevalette is. With that in mind though, his damage has been quite impressive to me at least. He's definitely on par with other Dendro DPSs. He's a very solid main DPS option.
I don't think I have a single Dendro DPS in my... Do I have a Dendro DPS? No, I don't think I have a Dendro DPS in my life. Tainari? Fuck that shit. There aren't many. So he'll be like my first Dendro DPS, basically. Okay, he'll be my first. Does he power creep? I'll hate him. You only need Cassandre, true. Oh, he doesn't power grip, I'll hate him. He doesn't power grip, I'll hate him. Then why the fuck would anyone pull for him?
Just damage-wise, has good numbers from his skill, but once again, isn't someone who I think is a game-breaking character, at least as of right now. While I do think
he's not
a
even
good main
game-breaking?
DPS, I also believe that he's someone who will have much more synergy with future Natlan units, similarly to Moalani. While he does have good teams right now,
Oh my god,
has
Shy
great
Lily.
synergy with someone like Bennett.
Okay, at least we pull for Shy Lily. We can promote Shy Lily at Bobas, yeah? We can promote Shy Lily at Bobas. Using code Poke with 10% off at Exhibition GS, using code Poke with 10%, you know? But it is like a Yasuo looking at Aksha, Yasuo
Also,
looking,
Emily,
you know?
who likes being ran in a burning team. You could also get huge buffs with someone like Farina. And again, I'll get into a team showcase a bit later in this video. It is very clear that he will synergize well with Natlan characters, not just because of his passive, where he'll synergize well with Night Soul Bursts, which trigger more often the more Natlan characters are in your party, but also and especially because he can definitely use a solid off-field Pyro support, who the Pyro Archon may very well be.
Oh, hell
Honestly,
yeah,
we don't
brother.
know what she does and if Kinich will even synergize with her, but it is very likely to assume that kits that revolve around a Pyro reaction, these new Natlan main DPSs that synergize with Burning in Kinich's case or Vaporize in Moalani's case, can use a strong off-field Pyro support, which is what I
Hell
believe the
yeah.
Pyro Archon will be.
So
but
basically,
obviously I
Banana
could
is
be
gonna get
wrong.
power creep,
Also,
okay.
one of the main reasons why she'll likely be good with Kinich, or at least why he's waiting for a support character that can help him, is because of the new hero set. I mentioned this with Moalani, but also with Kinich, where this new hero support set is so broken that having a character from Natlan who can trigger its effect and buff your team accordingly.
What is the fucking essay, dude? Like, who is gonna read all this? After equipping character triggers the reaction related to the elemental type, all nearby party members gain 12% elemental damage bonus for a reaction proximate elemental type for 15 seconds. The equipping the characters in the Night Soul's blessing state while triggering this effect. All nearby party members gain an additional 28% elemental damage bonus for resistance for 15 seconds. The equipping character triggers this effect while being off and the damage bonus from artifact will not be
It can be so pivotal to the
fucking
team's
god, nobody
damage.
reads this.
The reason for this is because this new hero set will give you 12% elemental damage bonus to all party members of an element related to any reaction that's triggered, even from off-field. Now, while 12% damage bonus may not seem that good, and honestly it's still decent, it goes up to a 40% damage bonus if the character triggering this is in the Night Soul's blessing state, meaning that any Natlan support will automatically have a set that can give 40% elemental damage bonus to any elements in any reaction that's triggered. Now, what
How diabolical is 40% damage bonus? Because in Honkai Starbucks is not that crazy, right? Like, is it crazy? Is 40% damage for Natlan characters is huge.
this means is that, let's say the Pyro Archon comes out and they're a Pyro support, but just another character, for example, that is from Natlan and is a support, if they can trigger the burning reaction, they will not only buff Pyro, giving a 40% Pyro damage bonus to the whole party, but they'll also buff Dendro, buffing your Kinich damage on top of whatever else they have in their kit that may or may not already make them a good support. Additionally, this buff lasts for 20 seconds, which is huge, and you can buff multiple elements at the same time through multiple different reactions, meaning that you could effectively buff any party member that's dealing damage. Now, the reason why you can't just throw this on to someone like Kachina in a Kinich team right now is because while I absolutely recommend this set set on Kachina, and I even ran Kachina with Mualani, and it worked quite well as a low investment option. With Kinich, since he's Dendro, obviously Geo and Dendro have no reaction together, and since there's no Geo Dendro reaction, although I think Mossy Rock would be sick, Kinich definitely will benefit from a future Pyro support, or even just any element that can synergize with Dendro in order to give him this 40% damage bonus, and probably also just be a good addition to the team in other ways as well. While no supports right now can run Hero with Kinich, so obviously it'll be great when he gets a support that can, it is still worth noting that he synergizes very well with support characters who can run the Deepwood memory set to reduce the Dendro resistance of enemies by 30%, which is really big for your damage. This obviously can be ran on other Dendro supports, but can also especially be ran on just generic support characters whose skill deals sounds pretty good, not gonna lie. This can be someone like Dea, who has a nice pyro field, or Zhongli, whose pillar will constantly hit enemies. With these options and many other options that are out right now, being able to run a set like Deepwood to buff Kinich on top of anything else they already provide him with. So keep in mind that a set like this is important to run if you can make it work, as it will increase Kinich's damage.
I don't say this often, but I swear, Dea is probably one of the most peak MiHoYo designs so far. It's just, oh my god, like Fei Xiao is like the Honkai Star Wars version of Dea with like a little bit less skin. But oh my god, muscle mummies, guys, I swear. Muscle mummies.
And so for those reasons, I think as a main DPS, Kinich definitely has pros and cons. He's not game breaking if you just want the most meta character. Neuvillette is right there, but Kinich is solid, and in my opinion, up there as one of the stronger DPSs, a really solid option who shines in single target, but also has some AoE if you know what you're doing, and also through
but women can't beat the shit out of me. I don't want it.
Elemental skill has a unique playstyle, and I think will get better as future characters are released. Obviously, this is true about a lot of characters, but in particular for characters of a new region at the start of said region, and especially in Natlan.
I said if a woman can't beat the shit out of me, I don't want them. What do you mean cancelled? It's not I want to beat up women. All right, let's come to fuck down.
And because so many characters rely on other characters' nice old bursts, there's the hero set, the Archon's not even out yet. A lot of signs that point towards characters like Kinich and Mualani getting better in the future, while already being solid DPS options right now. With that said, I do believe Kinich does already have some solid team options. I think he synergizes well with characters like Emily, Bennett, Farina, Dea, and a few others that I'll cover in my Kinich guide coming out next, so stay tuned for that for more in-depth information. But even now, I am very happy with his unique and fun playstyle, and pretty impressive damage, all things considered. Please don't feel forced to get him, as with DPS characters, it's really hard to give an objective recommendation unless they are absolutely game-breaking. Now, outside of just that, it is worth pointing out that Kinich has good room for vertical investment. His C1, C2, and also signature weapon are all pretty solid increases to his personal damage, while already being solid at C0. Additionally, he's very straightforward to build. He ascends with crit damage, which is nice, and runs the new, pretty broken Obsidian Codex set, which is probably going to be a staple on so many Natlan characters. This set is insane, gives you so much crit rate, and is what you should be farming, while also having some other viable options, which again, I'll cover in my guide. Additionally, he has a good free-to-play weapon option with the new Blacksmith Craftable that we got one copy of through the web event, but can also obviously refine for free, provided you have the prototypes to do so.
What web event? What web event? Did my executive account managers get it? I don't know, dude. What web event? Are you trolling? There's no web event. Oh, I already got it? Oh, okay.
Now, with that in mind, I want to get to probably the most important part of this video, or at least my favorite part, which is going to be showcasing Kinich's teams. So I'm going to give you guys a brief rundown on the different teams that Kinich can run, or at least the ones that I have chosen to run him with.
Oh, that's my team right there.
Action and talk about my thoughts on
that's my team right there. That's my team right there.
Things kind of straightforward.
That's my team right there. Oh my god, stop using
the most are firstly burning teams, running a pyro character.
Oh my god, yo, we need Kasande so bad. We need Kasande so fucking bad, dude. Like, we need to play the Super Break team.
And then genuinely just flexible slots. Emily is a solid Dendro option, but there's others. And the last slot is entirely flexible. While Kinich doesn't need more interruption resistance, it definitely still helps because getting knocked around while you're grappling is annoying. So having a shielder or someone like Dea can be quite nice. They can also run the Deepwood set, which helps quite a lot. Now, I believe burning is going to be the main synergy. There's going to be a lot of different burning variations with Kinich, some that also include Burgeon, like notably running Kinich with Farina, Bennett, and then another pyro character who can trigger Burgeon, Dea, Toma, or whatever. You can also run more traditional Burgeon teams, and even the Hyperbloom. While Hyperbloom doesn't synergize too well with Kinich's kit. Obviously, it looks like he wants to synergize with Burning and Burgeon, and he does. Hyperbloom is just so good, and Kinich works as a Dendro driver to where a team like this can work, running Kinich with a Hydro and Electro unit,
that's a lot of damage.
That can be almost anything. For the most part, however, he synergizes with Burning and Burgeon, and can benefit from buffers such as Bennett, Farina, and others. And I really do like that while some of his supports are meta, like Bennett's a popular character, he is a Dendro main DPS that makes use of teams that otherwise are kind of neglected. Like, there aren't really many Burning carries, or even Burgeon carries for that matter. Yes, some Burgeon teams can be good. Yes, Burning with Emily can actually be quite good, but she's just a support, and she also works well with Kinich, who is making Dendro and Pyro work together, having completely different teams from other meta Dendro DPSs like Alhaitham or Tifnari, who are much more focused around Quicken and Quick Bloom teams. All right, now moving on, let's do a small showcase of Kinich's multiple different teams in action, and keep in mind that for a full showcase of Kinich in the Spiral Abyss, this will be included in my next video, my complete guide, when he's out on the live servers. For now though, here is Kinich in a burning team, just doing some random domains, and as you can see, not only is the damage just genuinely pretty good, or actually very good, but also, in my opinion, he he's very fun to play. Now, there's some jank attached to certain parts of the grapple. Sometimes I've noticed I'll get stuck while sliding, notably against like a boss enemy, but for the most part, trying to run into the lit areas on the ground, being able to choose which direction you're going and spinning from enemy to enemy has been really fun. Burning teams I've enjoyed obviously the most, but also probably as much and sometimes even more.
Okay, I don't know why, if it's just me, but is it just me or like the Genshin guide makers don't show their face? I don't think Zayok shows his face. I don't think Iwin shows his face, right? Iwin shows. Oh, he shows sometimes. Oh yeah, he does sometimes. Oh, Bragg shows. Yes, sometimes. Savvy does. Zayok does. Like, okay, on the stream, yes, but on the guide videos specifically, is no. Is it a detriment, by the way? Should I hide my face? I mean, the formula is clearly working, yeah? It's 76,000 views in 6 hours. It's clearly working. Should I hide my face for guide videos? Jay's turn. You want to pull Kinich? I'd rather have Kasante. VTuber. He got views because it's the first time I posted it. Doesn't really work that way, honestly. Face is distracting on guides. Your face is pretty, so better keep keeping it. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate it. You know, I appreciate it. Okay, that's good. So they are for what? Devs, listen. Oh my god, chat just moving too fast. Keep face. Alright, keep face. I'll just keep mewing all my guys next time. I'll just. Hey guys, MrPokke here. Back with another video and. Okay, what if I just did all my guys like this? So, in order to properly max out facial rotations, you really need to slot in the Robin as well as the supports, activating the set buffs, using the ultimate in due time to do the absolute highest amount of damage possible onto your target for the best playing experience in Honkai Star Rail.
Has been a burning team where Farina's included, which technically makes it Burgeon, but not really, as Farina's damage bonus is greatly appreciated. She's also just a good unit, and as you can see, the team does perform very well. Kinich just does really good damage as a solid Dendro carry who can actually make use of different teams than the other Dendro carries like Alhaitham, as mentioned in the video, which is something that I really like. With that said though, even in something like a generic Hyperbloom team, which you're seeing now, while his personal damage won't be as high, it's still fine, and he's a Dendro driver for that team. His skills, shots count as normal attacks, so he can trigger someone like Xingqiu or Yelan, apply Hydro, apply Dendro, and have an Electro Hyperbloomer who will all be doing good damage. Obviously, this isn't like his premier team, but it's another viable option that I find pretty cool. I do suspect that Kinich is a character from Natlan who I will be playing for a long time, but for a more in-depth analysis, my thoughts on him, his place in the meta, and more in-depth build stuff, do wait for him to release on the live version and my complete guide to be out. Obviously, it's not even day one, so this is just really early first impressions, which may change. It's hard to evaluate a character this early on, but as I said, I do like him. He's not a
Who do you need Daya for, or do you want to play her? Oh, I thought we were playing... Oh, actually, yeah. Okay, I guess if we don't book Kinich, we don't build Daya, right? I don't know. I mean, who else are you guys working on anyways? I think there's a lot to work on. Okay, I guess you guys just clear the backlogs. All characters to build. Yeah, clear the backlogs.
Pull or anything like that, but a solid DPS option who has a new playstyle that you may or
may
may not find enjoyable.
Okay, I want to play
so
Moanani.
Thanks so much for watching. Those are my thoughts on Kinich as well as a small showcase and everything else. I'm very excited for him to release. I'm glad I got to give you guys an early video, and I'll get ready to work on the guide so that it isn't as delayed as Moalani's was. Thanks so much for watching.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's pretty cool. You have cooled your last cool, my man.